Welcome back to Odyssey News. I am Mike Odyssey, and in this video, we're going over rapid fire news where I give you just a little bit of what's happening inside the world of Nintendo in under 2 minutes. And of course, today's topic, with the Nintendo Switch 2 on the horizon, there is one specific feature this console needs to have in order to make it. Without it, it's destined to fail. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Odyssey. Hit the like, press play. You're running with the squad like Xenoblade. Drive like Mario, we on a...
So before we get into today's stories, you see, I want to ask you one thing. I want to ask for your subscription. You see, I'm legally blind, and I'm basically losing my sight as we go. I don't have sight on my left eye, and I have about 40% sight of my right eye, and it's just fading away, right? The doctors right now have nothing else they can do, but I have a dream to become a full-timer on YouTube by the end of this year, and I want to ask you for your help. If you subscribe to this channel right now, it'll only take a second. For me, it'll just change my life. So if you could do that right now, I would really appreciate it. Here we have Monday through Friday Nintendo news. On the weekends, we have products and reviews, and we also have the occasional Nintopic podcast with your favorite voice actor. So I would really appreciate it. It will mean the world to me, and I just want to thank you in advance for giving me your subscription. Let's move on to today's stories. First up in rapid fire news, we got sad news for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet fans. It means the Trend Raids and Great Tusk Terra Raid have been canceled due to crash issues. But it is not all sad news. This means that it is postponed until they can fix these crash issues. Once they fix them, I will issue an update here to let you guys know when they are being held. But so far, it looks like they are canceled, and they'll be moving forward with other things for now. In other news, Super Mario Bros. Movie is now the third highest grossing animated film of all time. Yes, it just became number 3, just behind Frozen 1 and Frozen 2. And it is on the tails of Frozen 2, meaning that it can also be the second grossest movie of all time. Then we have Frozen 1 to beat. So we still have some time before we can get there. In other news, we had Final Fantasy producer saying they have considered scrapping numbered titled games, meaning, Final Fantasy 8, 9, 10, 11, removing the number, because in perspective, all titles, basically almost all titles, besides number 9 and number 10, they are their own standalone games, and so basically having that number there might confuse some players, because they might think that, they have to play another game before they play this game. So in order to kind of release that and remove that confusion, they're considering removing the numbers from the titles moving forward after Final Fantasy 16. So there you have that. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. And last but not least, we got Samba de Amigo Party Central announced for Nintendo Switch. And this game goes back all the way to Sega Dreamcast. Yes, because this is a Sega game, and it's making it to the Nintendo Switch now, which is crazy. I mean, hopefully it does well, and hopefully it moves forward with Nintendo looking on. So that is gonna do it for rapid fire news. Let's move on to today's top story. So today's topic was truly inspired by recent news on the Nintendo 3DS. Let me know down below if you still own one and if you still play a 3DS. And the fact that we just received an update to version 1.17.0-50U with some patch notes that describe it as basically an update for stability, to make the console run better, and to improve the overall experience. This late in the stage of the 3DS, right when Nintendo is actually shutting down completely the 3DS and Wii U eShops. They're not completely shut down yet, but at least you can still download your games if you own them. There's no word on whether Nintendo is ever going to shut that down, but if you're going to purchase that, the time is gone, it's over. But, having this update kind of makes you feel like, wow, I mean, Nintendo's still maintaining this, right? And this led me to think about a feature that the Switch 2 cannot live without. Without this feature, I am 100% sure that with the current system, how the current generation, how everything is now made, the number of Nintendo accounts and users like you and I who wants to repurchase the games. For example, you just purchased Tears of the Kingdom for $70, mind you. Who wants to spend an extra $70? And I'm talking about backwards compatibility. I mean, having every purchase that you made on your Nintendo Switch be compatible with your Nintendo Switch 2. And I just don't mean digital, because digital, it will be the easiest way to make sure your games are backwards compatible, but I also mean physical, you know? So backwards compatibility is something that we desperately need in the Nintendo Switch 2. Imagine you having to purchase every single game all over again, and I feel that most likely, yes, we will have backwards compatibility. First thing, Nintendo has a big history of backwards compatibility with their consoles, right? At least when it comes to the Wii, to the Wii U. Some of Nintendo's 3DS systems have been backwards compatible, and right now we are in a position where we desperately need this feature. There is over 100 million accounts for Nintendo Online, and well, at this point, Nintendo has hinted that backwards compatibility will be a thing moving forward, or at least they've been thinking about it. And Miyamoto himself stated that in this particular moment than ever, they have been in a position where what the ways they use to develop their games, it has made it easier to bring games forward with them. Not so much backwards, but forward, meaning the games that are currently on Switch, they can push them forward to the next gen system. I know it says backwards compatibility, like going backwards, but it's actually kind of forward compatibility, right? Because we're moving games forward with the new system. And so Miyamoto stated that right now, the way they develop their games, because of the methods they use, it has never been easier to have backwards compatibility in a game. He also stated in the same interview that they're looking forward to creating new experiences with the new console that only the new console can provide. But when it comes to games that we already own, it's never been easier to bring these games forward. So there is hint number one. Hint number two is that we recently found out that because of this Xbox and Microsoft deal with Activision Blizzard, we found out some information on the next gen console, right? Where we saw that redacted file, and that redacted file really had to do with Nintendo Online and the subscription service they had. We found out that Nintendo Switch Online will be moving forward because it says it's currently available on Nintendo Switch and redacted, that redacted being the next gen console. So Nintendo Switch Online is moving forward. Nintendo Switch Online is your account, basically. It's not the Nintendo Switch Online games, and the games are just a feature of the account. Like, the games are just an add-on. It's something that you get when you sign up for Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo Switch Online is the system. It's like the subscription model that Nintendo has, and part of that subscription model, you have games, you get to play online, you get to do, you get to collect little icons and a lot of other features, like you get game trials, right? So Nintendo Switch Online as a whole, it's not just the games you get to play, it's the features that are added to your Nintendo Switch and to your system, and it's the number of accounts that are signed up that is most important to Nintendo, which are a lot right now. So now that we know that at least Nintendo Switch Online is moving forward to the next console, and it is yet to be known whether it'll keep the Switch name, maybe Nintendo Online, maybe they'll rename it later on. But right now, we know that based on this document, legal document, by the way, it just happened to leak, Nintendo Switch Online is moving forward. That also gives us that hope that we are getting backwards compatibility, because these accounts, your account, is moving forward towards the next gen. Unlike what happened with the Wii U, where your account just stayed there and died there, is closed up, even though you still have access to it to download games, that account is completely there and just dead, right? And even for the Wii, right? You can't go back to the Wii and sign into your account and do anything with it. And going back to previous consoles, I guess there weren't accounts like they are now. So in a way, you know, this is just basically a new market for Nintendo, having accounts, right? And so this is very important for Nintendo to have the accounts moving forward. Now, with these accounts, your games are part of this account. They're attached to them. So when you log in to the next gen Switch, you go there, you have access to Nintendo Online. All we need is that when you go to download, we re-download, you have access to all of your previous games purchased on the Nintendo Switch. This is key, and I know that this will ease a lot of people's minds when it comes to their investment, because I feel like people have spent more money on Nintendo Switch games than any other console before that. You can see with how many accounts there are on Nintendo Switch, and you can also see with how many consoles Nintendo has already sold up to date when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. It's about to become one of the best-selling consoles of all time. And this is not just counting Nintendo, this is counting PlayStation, Sony, and Xbox. So backwards compatibility, guys, is a must. Now, when it comes to the next gen console, what will be the selling point? I know backwards compatibility, some people think, might hurt the console sales. I believe it will increase it if they actually release patches in order for some games to look better, right? Maybe have some DLC only available on that console. Let's say Tears of the Kingdom DLC. Maybe that's a next gen feature, right? That's a next gen feature that will kind of entice people to be able to purchase that console. And so, you know, I know Nintendo will have hit their selling point when it comes to the next gen console, and yeah, they're worried about how to transition from one console to the other. If you ask me, I think now is the time to go at it, to jump into the Nintendo Switch 2. They cannot let the Nintendo Switch sales die all the way down in order to then change to Switch 2. I think this year, top next year, has to be where Nintendo Switch 2 is announced. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and we'll continue this conversation down below. But man, this feature is a must for Nintendo, and I believe that Nintendo Switch 2 could fail without it, because no other console in history have gamers invested so much money into when it comes to games, and it's so important to bring these games forward with us. All right, guys, that is gonna do it for this episode of Odyssey News. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. We'll continue the conversation.
More features,
and before I let
fun.
you go, I have two important things I need to let you know.
Online.
Number one, never ever give up, and number two, journey out.
Allow us to introduce 5 features included with your membership.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without